They say that pressure bursts pipes. Well, the dudes were under some pressure this week. Now, some handle it better than others. We'll see. Anyway, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Let's get into it. What up, y'all? I'm Christopher Markland, author of the Desperately Seeking series of books, and welcome to my review of episode 6 of season 4, Ready to Love. This week, the ladies have the power. Yes, they are in control, and that means that by the end of the show, one, or at least one of them, and maybe more, they've done it before, but at least one of the fellas is going to be voted off this week.
Okay, this should be good because I need to maybe try something new and see if I can get different results from what I'm normally getting with my type.
We all have a type. It's human nature. We like what we like. We're attracted to what we're attracted to. However, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, there's a word for that: insanity. And that's part of the insanity. Also, that is part of modern dating. Don't get me wrong, it's not just the women, even though that's who Tommy was talking to in this particular case. It's men and women. We all want to keep going after the same thing. We all want to keep push, trying to reach for something, thinking that that person is going to be different this time. But no, it's the same thing. It's the same person. And if you don't look beyond either the physical, even though men are attracted to the physical, if that's all you're looking at, then you're going to get the same results. You have to look for something different if you want to get different results, and especially if you want to achieve something deeper, something more meaningful when it comes to dating. You cannot keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. Just can't do it.
You had a couple of concerns for me. So obviously, you know that I'm a woman of faith.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm a church girl. I love God. You were concerned with, being in my space.
I ain't saying I've had the spiritual past, I kind
Right.
of lived like a rock star.
If you are a self-professed church girl and you're saying that you're in the church, that's part of your life, part of your lifestyle. If you have a dude that is telling you to your face, saying, yo, I live the rock star life or whatever, it's like he's telling you that y'all are not on the same path. However, it seems like all of that is out the window because there's a physical attraction. Once again, the exercise, the point of this particular thing that Tommy put them on was to do something different, was to go against what you've normally done. But it seems like she's doing the same thing. It's just with a different person.
I want to know, are you still feeling me? Am I still your number one? I mean, she's gorgeous. She doesn't have children. But here's the thing. Do you want, a trophy wife? Or you want somebody you can build something with?
At this point, that whole who's your number one thing is beyond annoying. I'm like, if you're going to be dating somebody, focus on the person you're on the date with. I've been saying that for the last couple of reviews. And if you worried about, well, who's your number one, you worried about the wrong damn thing. And, on another note is this: a trophy wife is usually a younger woman on the arm of an older man. But guess what? Alexis is actually younger than Chrysanthemum. Alexis, based on the bio info that they gave on the Ready to Love website on the own.com, is that Alexis is 36 and Chrysanthemum is 39. What she's doing, from my observation, she being Alexis, is really insecurity. If you are with that man, right, and you're busy worried about, well, he's gonna choose her because she's a trophy wife, what you're saying is that you think she's prettier than you are. And if you're Alexis Fly and all this other nonsense that we've been seeing up to this point, you're really just showing your insecurity. You have this man's attention. He's telling you that, yo, I'm feeling you, I like you, all of this other stuff. Focus on that while you're busy worried about who, well, she said you were the number. I get it. It's a reality show production. They have to make it exciting and drama, but in real life, it makes no sense. Focus on the dude. Make sure that you have his attention. Make sure that you leave such a mark, that no matter who he interacts with after you, all he can think about is you.
And you told me she's your usual type.
Yeah.
So what puts me ahead? I need you to know the answer to that question.
This is an example of that pressure that I was talking about. Now, within the confines of the show, yeah, this is a good question. However, most men don't really do a cost benefit analysis on the spot as far as, well, I choose you because of this, and based on this, and because of this graph, and purple moves yellow and green and one. Nah, it don't work like that. We usually choose a woman. If we're dating multiple women and we start narrowing it down, sooner or later we focus on one, and we usually choose that woman not because she's better than her and she does this. No, it's one of the women stand out because they do the things that we want. Peace. She brings peace in our life. Someone that we can talk to, someone that we can hold those good long conversations with, someone that makes us laugh, someone that can laugh at our stupid jokes. Those are the things that we look at, not, well, if I compare her to her, well, I think I will choose her. No, it does not normally work like that. And quiet as it's kept, Alexis actually has Ron's attention because on multiple occasions we've heard them both mention we were talking on the phone. Now, I've said this before. The phone is where real relationships come together, because you're having those conversations where you're not looking, unless you FaceTime, and even that's different. But when you're talking to that person on the phone, you're having real conversations. You don't necessarily have to worry about, dating and all of that stuff. You're actually talking to that person. And if they're holding a good conversation, then you want to keep talking to them, and you learn more about them. They learn about you, and you ultimately end up getting closer together.
Hey, I'm highly attracted to you.
Thank you. Same here.
Before I got here, my life was happy, right? With you, growth spiritually and everything like that, it has the ability to take me beyond where I even was or what I could be.
I like the fact that his answer really and truly didn't necessarily match her question, because she wanted to know what puts her ahead of Chrysanthemum. But based on what he's saying, he just talked about the things that he likes about Alexis, because he's attracted to both of them, I guess, physically, because he said as much. And if that's the case, then Alexis wouldn't be his number two. I get it, but I don't think it would have bode well for him if he started comparing the two women. That's a non-starter right there. Like I said, if you focus on the person in front of you, you'll be all right. But if you start, well, I like when you do this, but she does that. No, because that's gonna then become the conversation, as opposed to I like what you do and focusing on her.
To me, Alexis is a catch. She does let me lead, but still a force in her own nature. I mean, together we are
And that's
a
what it's
power couple.
about. Alexis left that mark. I mean, after the date's over, he's still thinking about her. He's like, yo, I like what, we talked about. I like, the date. I like being with her. I like those things. That's what it's about. Not worrying about, well, she's my number one now because of this, but she's my number two. No, Alexis is doing what she's supposed to be doing, being herself. And as such, he's attracted to her. You have the person in front of you, make your mark so that when the date's over, they're still thinking about you, and they're also planning, damn, when next can I see her again?
This week, Tommy challenges us to date what we normally wouldn't date or what we're uncomfortable with. So today, I'm going on a date with AJ. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Look at you, you got leather on. Hold on.
This is a date? Man, come on, man. This is like a meetup somewhere in the park. I mean, this ain't no date. You can see how forced it is, because these two people have no interest in each other. We're on week 6, which means that they've been taping, I don't know how long. More specifically, if he hasn't reached out, or, they haven't had any inclination to try and set something up in order to get to know each other better, they're just not interested in each other. And that should actually be good enough. So, I don't know who set that nonsense up.
Gives me more Playboy vibes. And that's just honestly not my personality.
I finally got you out.
Finally. I'm just hoping to see a genuine part about him that wasn't so arrogant and cocky. So I'm very intentional about this date.
Maybe I'm missing it, but I haven't seen the arrogant or cocky thing that she's referencing. Now, I get it. A lot of this stuff, is edited out, and, the producers see what they want us to see. But from everything that I've, watched, all of the men on the show are confident men in their own right. Now, as far as the arrogant or the cocky thing that she's, saying that AJ is, I personally haven't seen it. If I've missed it, y'all let me know in the comment section where, hey, y'all, and just let me know, hey, Chris, remember when AJ did this? Or, hey, Chris, remember when AJ said that? But I haven't seen it personally, so I really don't understand where she's coming from.
Amber's a really attractive woman, but I just haven't talked to her. So I was hoping to have a connection with her as I give her some attention today.
And this right is what I'm talking about. I don't get where she's saying that he's arrogant or cocky, because from what he's saying, they haven't even had a conversation together. So I, I get it. The ladies, they do talk, obviously, when they get in Tommy's lounge and, they give feedback on each other, on the men that they've dated and just the men in general. So I get that she is not, it's not like she's just coming into this blind. She's heard of some of the things he's done on the dates. And obviously, what we see in Tommy's lounge with the women is cut. So we only get a few minutes and I'm sure they're in there for a much longer period of time. However, if from what AJ's saying, they haven't really had a real conversation together. Once again, I'm trying to understand where is where is it coming from that she's calling him arrogant and cocky? I don't get that.
I would say Chris, Ron.
Oh man, see, look, I'm not even in the mix.
We haven't talked at all.
I should have invited you out earlier from now. Like, how we get to here where...
We haven't talked at all. That's her words. We haven't talked. We haven't had a conversation. But yet and still, she's calling him arrogant and cocky. Okay. Have you ever had like a coworker or, maybe a manager or boss or somebody that you really don't know personally, but you've already formed an opinion of that person because of something that you've heard about them, maybe a friend of a friend, and it's like, all right, that person's this, that, and the third, but you don't know them from nothing. You just heard a snippet of a conversation where somebody said, hey, that person right there is blah, blah, blah. So now you're like, oh, they must be blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's the case. If for whatever reason she has this image of him as being this, I don't know. Now, I will say this though. We ain't blind. We see AJ with the hand on the leg and all this other stuff. So it's not like old boys, this monk just walking around. Nah, he's that dude. So we know that he's got that. I don't want to call him an F boy. He ain't at that level. Let's call him maybe a C boy. He ain't up to F yet, but you can see the tendencies are there. I get it. And I also see that look on her face when she shut all that down and you see that hand just kind of slowly back away from the leg. I get it. I'm not saying that this dude is a saint. I'm just saying that for her to say that he's this and I haven't seen all that. That's all I'm saying.
Like, how we get to here where we had all this time pass and we just now seeing each other?
You?
Me?
Yes, you, AJ. I've said it more times than I can count. Men hunt. So if he hasn't approached her, if he hasn't reached out and set up a date, if he hasn't made any type of, put forth any effort to talk to her, it's because he doesn't want to. So what I'm trying to understand is why are they forcing these two to be together? I'm not, and I don't know if they're like, hey, why don't you go date AJ? It looks obvious that she ain't put no kind of effort into, hey, let's go do something of substance. It's like, all right, meet me in the park and I'll hit you upside the head with a slushie. I don't know what the hell that is. If she was the one that put that date together, if he was the one that put the date together, then good Lord, he's not interested because there was no effort put forth. My man showed her there with a damn with a hat backwards, and it's like, bruh, neither one of them seemed to really be putting forth the effort to make an impression of any kind. So he's not interested in her, she's not interested in him, and it's like trying to force these two people together is just not a good look at all.
Yeah, because you give me this arrogant feel. You come off like, okay, I'm AJ. I know I look good. I don't really have to work hard to get a girl.
Amber showed up and she had, because of the preconceived notions that she had about AJ, they may be justified, could be right, could be wrong. We don't know because quite honestly, she didn't really give him a chance. She really didn't give him a shot. And no matter what he said or did, she wasn't really, you could tell she just wasn't open to getting to know him. And at that point, it's really just a waste of both of their times.
Hearing her say that I was arrogant was definitely a blow because I don't look at myself that way. A lot of times confidence can be mistaken as arrogance.
Man, ain't this the truth? Y'all, I am a proud Jamaican man. On top of that, I'm an Aries, and y'all, I strive to be not just good, I strive to be dominant in everything that I do, whether it's being a writer, whether it's these videos, whatever the case may be. I try to be as good, if not better, than my peers. I may fall short, but that doesn't mean that I'm not trying to be the best at it. Now, I think that if more men walked confidently in their truths, striding towards their purpose, not only will they be better people, not only will they be better men, but we'll also be better as a people. So, I agree with AJ. You got to be confident. You have to walk in that confidence and carry yourself confidently. Now, arrogance or whatever, I've been called arrogant so many times at this point, I ain't worried about pushing back because it is what it is. I know I'm not arrogant. Well, maybe just a little bit, but I know I'm damn short confident, and that can come across as arrogance. I get it. At this point, I'm not trying to correct anybody anymore. I'm just going to continue being the best man that I can, and confidently so. And I wish all the black men out there, not just the guys on the show, but every black man out there as well, if we all walk in our confidence, walk and carry our shoulders, holding our heads high, man, nobody can tell you nothing.
Of course, if you're gonna reach out, I need to reach out back. But it looks like you just used to the girls coming, hitting you up. I feel like AJ has not put forth the effort whatsoever to genuinely try to get to know me further. It's kind of hard to communicate with him. So he's just not for me.
If he hasn't shown an interest in her at this point, by all means, move on. If he's not actively pursuing her and showing that he's interested, she has every right to move on and go, be the attention of seek the attention of someone that will do those things. However, she ain't got to necessarily call the dude arrogant and all this other stuff just because he's not interested in her. That's something that, a lot of dudes do that. If, they try to holler at a woman and she doesn't pay him any attention, well, it's like, well, look, that, because you're not paying me no attention, I'm going to call you all out your name or whatever. This is that same energy. Like I said, I have not seen AJ come across as anything other than sincere in his, approach. Is he that dude? Does he have that thing where he may be overly I don't even know how to put it. It's because I do the same thing. It's like you just smooth with it. It is what it is. But has he come across as a certain way that can be defined as negative, especially compared to other dudes like Troy or whoever? No. So I don't quite understand why she's basically bringing the dude down by calling him all of these things. Remember, we had the same thing last season where old boy was called a narcissist. It's like, yo, you ain't got to drop my name down because I'm not doing what you think I should be. I'm not paying you attention, or I'm not this. You don't have to do that. You just don't have to.
If I start putting in all the work and I'm raising up, how do I stop from being all the way at the bottom? Because wasn't Troy like higher up on your list before he was all the way at the bottom like that?
That's a dumbass question, and quite honestly, it shows his intent rather than him being intentional. If you're going to step your game up and you're going to pursue her, you're going to do all of those things, you should be doing it not because you're worried about rising and being, instead of being at the bottom, now you're number 3, number 2, striving to be number 1. That's not what it's about. If you are actually going to be showing her attention and, trying to make a connection with her, you shouldn't be doing it because you're trying to stay on the show. You should be doing it because you're actually interested in building something with her. There's something about her that you're interested in, and therefore you're trying to get to know her better, trying to do more things with her, going out, this, that, and the third. So it doesn't matter where Troy was in her ranking or whatever. Now you're worried about being at the bottom. No, that's BS. Plain and simple, that's BS. I'm gonna call it like it is. It's BS. Because if you're as confident as you say you are, you're not worried about, well, I put in all that effort and now I'm still at the bottom. That's just stupid. Plain and simple. If you're going to be putting in the effort, you should be confident that if I'm putting in the effort, I'm gonna be at the top, because it goes right back to what I was saying about Alexis. If you have that person in front of you, you should leave that mark. And if AJ has that confidence, if he has that swag, if he has all of that, then guess what? No matter what it is, if he's putting in that effort, then guess what? She's gonna be like, yo, you know what? That dude AJ, he's that dude. But if not, then you're worried about the wrong thing. And quite honestly, that statement that he just made, that question that he asked, lets us know that he's worried about the wrong thing. He's more worried about staying on the show than he is worried about making a true connection with her.
Man, I definitely took my licks in this conversation. Obviously, I have something to figure out, because at this point, things are happening really fast, and I'm seeing number ones going to last, and I'm definitely in the hot seat.
This who's your number 1, your number 2, your number 3, your number XYZ is about just stupid to me. If he's not interested in her, then it really shouldn't make a difference who her number 1, 2, or 3 is. That's none of his concern. But what is concern It's him staying on the show. So you got to ask yourself, is he ready to love, or is he just ready to be a TV star or whatever the hell, a reality show star? If he's ready to love, then you need to start moving as such. If you're not interested in Amber, then you need to direct your energy towards the woman or the women that you really are interested in. But worried about who her number one, two, or three is, so therefore you can make a move in order to gain in her standing so you can stay on the show. Nah, bro, that's not the move.
Chrysanthemum set up this date, and I was shocked. The times that I did try to communicate, there was no response. So, in my mind, I chopped that one up as a loss. But yet, here we are.
Chris said times as in multiple. So if he was trying to reach out to her multiple times, but he wasn't getting her attention, especially if it was with, throughout the whole freaking frack fiasco, whatever the hell that was, then I can see why he's like, yo, I tried to hit you up and you ain't, showing me any type of, energy being returned. I'm going to chop it up, keep it moving. I'm not going to worry about it. So I can see why he would keep it pushing. It makes sense.
So I just met my dad like 6 years ago.
Word.
We're like this. He's cool. Like, I look just like him.
Dang, that's good, because
Well,
my dad kept denying my ass.
Really?
Shit, damn, Chris, you're just gonna be a Debbie Downer right at the beginning of the date. But real talk, I definitely do, feel where he's coming from, because if you're still dealing with the trauma of your father pretty much abandoning you and rejecting you outright, that's some stuff, especially as a man, that you have to deal with. And once again, this is why it is so important that you get therapy. We all need therapy in one way or another, because childhood was traumatic. It is what it is. I mean, there's certain things that we are carrying with us today as adults, based on the trauma that we had as children, as adolescents, as young adults, and to the grown people that we are to this day. If you do not get the help that you need, you're going to keep carrying around that baggage, and it's going to keep weighing you down. And here it is, you see Chris is in that situation with Chrysanthemum. They're on a date, and something like that just comes out because she mentioned her father. You never know what is gonna, what the trigger is gonna be, and if you don't handle that, then it's gonna surface when you least expect it. So if you don't get that help, if you don't go get therapy, that's an example of what can happen, because you're carrying it around with you. You got to get some help. You got to get some therapy. We all do.
It's amazing how things like that affect us in life.
My mom, she's not real, like, affectionate, so I'm not affectionate. Her way of saying she loves you is making sure you're taken care of and everything is good.
So that right there is what I was talking about when I said there are so many different angles that they could be pursuing. There's so many different things that make you the person that you are. And the more we watch, the more we see just how complex each one of these people are. Hell, we all are. I mean, we all are so many different layers of stuff to get us to, the people that we are to this day. So here we see Chrysanthemum talking about, her parents. And just like Chris said, we're carrying around all of that stuff within us, and it affects how we move as adults and trying to establish relationships. So that's why it makes sense. She's 39, never married, et cetera, flight attendant. She's always on the move. It makes sense.
So how did that affect, like, your other relationships then?
I don't really
Like,
I don't
when you-
do relationships.
Oh. So can I read your energy on me real quick, if you don't mind?
Man, Chris, come on, dude. That was such a missed opportunity. She is opening up. She is if you want to call it, vulnerable. She's talking about her past, talking about the woman that she is, why she is not affectionate, why, all of those things. And instead, he literally cuts the conversation off to say, okay, let me read how you feel about me, instead of, as they keep saying, peeling back the layers and getting to know the person. I'm not sure why. I think I have a reason as to why he did that. But quite honestly, that was a missed opportunity on his part to get to know her and maybe try and develop some kind of connection from there.
I feel that you are about 70-30. 70%, you're like, okay, Chris, yeah. The other 30 is like, am I right?
There are some times where I really think that this show is trolling us. I have never in my life heard of somebody stopping the date to be like, yo, so what do you think? Because right now I think that, you're only feeling me like 70-30. This dude literally stopped the date that was, starting to develop. They were starting to open up. They were starting to talk. And instead he pumped the brakes. The only reason that I can think of that he would do that is because he didn't want to get too close to Chrysanthemum, because that would mess things up between him and Amber. You know, the ladies, when they get back, they get to talking, and it's like, if Chrysanthemum was to be like, hey, I had a really good date with Chris, we really got close, we really connected, then Amber's gonna be like, wait a minute, I thought me and you had a thing going on, and now here it is, I see that you kicking it with this young lady right here. That's the only reason that I could even think of that he would stop literally in the middle of the date and slow things down and pretty much dead it. Outside of that, I can't think of another reason. Y'all, let me know if you know maybe why he would do that. Let me know in the comment section, y'all.
Yeah. Chrysanthemum, part of me is like, yeah, we'd give it a go. The other part of me is like, let it go. Because at this moment, the way that I'm feeling about Amber is still the same. I mean, she's still number one.
Chris is fixated on Amber, and that's his MO. That's what he did last time, where it's like, last season he was fixated on Naya, and nobody else really had a shot, even if they wanted his attention. He was focused, laser focused on that one person. He did it then, he's doing it now. It seems like he wants to make sure that he doesn't mess things up with Naya, because that's who either one of two things. Either he really has a strong, solid connection with her, or he just doesn't want to get sent home early, so he wants to make sure that he keeps that good connection with Amber. Or it could be a combination of the two. All I know is that I just don't understand why he didn't necessarily try to pursue something with Amber. I mean, excuse me, with Chrysanthemum, unless he just really wasn't interested in her, and just like how AJ and wasn't necessarily interested in what's her name, in Amber either.
Since Tommy is challenging us to step outside these comfort zones, I decided to set up a date for Joel and I.
Girl, let me tell you something. Yeah, you heard me. Girl.
Shout out to my New Orleans people, but boy, listening to Joel talk, I swear it's like New Orleans Mad Libs. Every time that dude, I'm watching the show, and we're watching the show, and this dude comes on, I swear it's a drinking game, because sooner or later, every sentence is gonna be ended with "baby." You heard me? Nah, I mean, it's like, what else does he say? Baby, you dig? You heard me? It's like, bruh, every New Orleans I'm sorry, dude's just funny, man. I ain't no New Orleans, I swear. No disrespect, but y'all some funny people, man. I love it.
First of all, do you want to be married again?
Absolutely, baby. And I'm happy. I thank God that I've overcame certain obstacles when it comes to this, you dig? Like, losing Courtney was hard, baby. Couldn't talk about that. But even in that moment, I knew I desired companionship.
Like what I just talked about with Chris, I really do appreciate the fact that Joel can talk about his deceased wife. You can tell that he's went through the grieving process. He's at a point where he can talk about her without getting emotional. He can talk about her without getting, just sidetracked. And don't get me wrong, it's not like he's just, forget it, I'm done. You can see that there's emotion there. That was his wife. He loved her. We don't know the extent of their relationship, but, that was his wife, and he obviously cares about her. That was the mother of his kids. The love is there. However, she's passed away, and he has to move on with life, and that's what he's doing. So I respect that. And I don't know what process he went through. He didn't talk about whether he went through therapy or whatever, but you can just see that he's at a point where he is ready to move on, and he's doing so much love and respect for that, man.
So, how do you feel about being in a relationship with a man 10, 11 years older than you that has kids already? What? Their mom being gone.
Tough, direct questions. You have to ask those questions if you are dating with a purpose. If you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, you have to ask the questions, because it's important. I mean, there are so many variables when it comes to dating, in your, like I said, in that age range. You have things like the difference in age, children, your job, location, sex. I mean, deceased spouses. I mean, the list goes on. And if you don't ask the questions, then you cannot get good answers. Now, I'm not saying that you have to find a solution right then and there. Well, what about this? I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that you have to put it on the table, so that way you can have the conversation to get to an understanding maybe later on down the line. You're not trying to get tripped up, because you're not, because you're putting it out there. You're letting that person know, hey, this is important to me. How do you feel about X? You may not like their answer, but at least you're bringing it up and talking about it.
You ain't gonna catch Joel running behind no 31-year-old. I'm just gonna be real with you. Normally, a sister don't really have it together like that. But Emma's different.
One thing's for sure, boy, Joel is a grown man. He came there with a purpose. He filled that purpose when he met Vernisha, and right now he's going through the process to get to the end of the particular show. But who knows what's going to happen with them two from there on out. Also, I'm gonna say this: whenever I hear a grown man talk about, well, I didn't know she was underage, that is just some absolute BS. A woman's age just based on the maturity, or at least the maturity level of that woman is going to come through, and you can see it. I didn't really put it in my video, but when you watch the show, you can see Joel just sitting there looking at her, and he knew that, okay, this woman, no disrespect, no knock to her, but she was below where he was as a man. She's 31, he's well, it's an 11-year difference, so he's 42, but there's a difference, and it showed in that he knows that that's not something necessarily that he's interested in long term.
I love the way our conversations go. I think we're very open. So is there anything that you would like to know about me that you feel like I haven't shared yet?
How you feel about sex? Sex before marriage?
Dude almost choked, didn't he? But as I was saying earlier, this is what dating with a purpose is about. This is what dating in your 30s, 40s, and 50s is about. You have to put certain things on the table. Now, if it's important to you, sex, celibacy, abstinence, kinks, if all of those things are important to you, then you have to talk about it. Personally, I probably would have waited until dessert to bring it up, but hey, it don't matter. She put it on the table because it's important to her. And big ups to him. He answered it honestly. He answered the question, and they talked about it. That's what you have to do. You have to put these things on the table. Like I said, I personally, that's another conversation as far as how I feel about celibacy and abstinence and all that. However, it's important to her, and she made sure that she let him know by putting it on the table so that they can talk about it. Got to respect that.
When it comes to you, I feel like I have this good angel
Squeezing my
and
hand.
this bad angel. I do like you, and I want to see what could be there, but I think you are more of a wild card. Maybe that's what it is. You're more of a wild card.
It's funny. AJ and Kyle would actually be a good-looking couple. They are, two handsome, attractive people. They would actually look pretty good together. The problem is she cannot get past all of the baggage. She cannot look beyond who he was and see who he is right now. And because of that, they're always going to have problems. They're always going to have issues because, he's still the same dude that pretty much, bailed out on her and left her to pay the check way back when, and she honestly I don't think is going to be able to see beyond that.
It sounds like there's a breakdown, and I'm saying that because if someone's not understanding you and it's an intimate relationship, the love languages are not being communicated effectively. Because if we're both just talking and it's not productive, what is the purpose?
Man, it's a lot of purpose sometimes.
If we're not understanding each other?
I kind of agree with AJ on this. The purpose is that you are trying to communicate. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's not productive that you're not able to communicate and effectively. However, if you want it to work, you have got to constantly keep trying. Now, by keep trying is you find different ways to communicate with that person. You go get help. You go get couples counseling, whatever it takes. Because if it's something that's serious and you want to work it out, you have to find a way to communicate. So yes, you have to keep trying to communicate, because the moment that you just say, the hell with it, I'm not going to try, it's a wrap. Game over at that point.
And I want you
Who's to say that your problem is always with me?
I'm not saying. Okay. I feel like my communication with AJ is stifled. I don't know what it is, but there's something when we're together that just is like this.
If it don't fit, don't force it. Like I said, the history between these two, I think, is to the point that it's going to be very difficult for them to move forward. And that honestly, and I've said this in past reviews, that is the problem with backtracking. Because excuse me, because her defenses are up. I mean, all systems are on red alert. The minute that she thinks that something that he says or does is out of whack, she's instantly looking for it, because she's on alert for the BS. So therefore, she's not giving him the chance. She's not giving him any grace, because right there, he just cracked a silly joke or whatever, just trying to add some levity from what I could see. But for her, and where she's coming from, it put her on alert, like I said. So unless they can get past that, more specifically, unless she can get past that, it's going to be so many problems for them moving forward.
It does seem like you are really intentional about trying to find that partner. I dated Tony's. It was romantic. He had a nice private room set up. There were flowers, there were candles, there was lobster. I was like, okay, AJ.
Again, I don't know who planned that meetup, in-person Zoom meeting, quote unquote date between AJ and Amber, but you can see the difference in the attention to detail and the level of effort put into the date that he had with Kyra. Obviously, he's trying to, get with Kyra, so he's trying to impress her. Men hunt, so he's doing everything he can to make sure that he's bringing her in, to attracting her to him. So you see the difference. I mean, like I said, I'm not sure what the hell that was between AJ and Amber, where she just showed up with a pair of J's on, and that was just some nonsense. But that right there between AJ and Kyra, that's what a real date looks like.
I hope that my guards continue to come down.
Sure.
And yours do as well.
Absolutely.
And that we can just see the heart of AJ and the heart of Kyra.
I feel like I redeemed myself on this date, and it felt good. We're affectionate with each other. We kind of made a pact to say that we were going.
The only way that it could work between them is if they let their guards down and put the defenses down, because you cannot fall in love if you are too scared to even get close to the edge to where you can fall. Right now, they are so far back because they don't want to get too close, and it shows. And unless they do that, it's not going to work between them.
So what, you got any expectations?
Just for you to be a leader, be the head of your household.
Okay.
Just not knowing how to be a man,
But here's the thing though, there's many levels to just being a man.
No part of somebody telling you, hey, I want, I'm looking for someone that's going to be a leader, I'm looking for someone that's going to be the head of household, is your response going to start with the word but. At that point, it's like, as a man, it's like, yeah, you know what? Yo, that makes sense. I feel you. There is no but. I don't understand what kind of interjection he was trying to add to that, or saying that there are different levels of being a man or whatever. He asked her, what is it that you're looking for? And she told him, and then he responds with, but. Nah, bro, that's not the course of action that you want to take. Not with, no.
I need somebody that can lead me.
Okay. So do you see any of those qualities in me?
That's why I'm asking. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to learn the leadership side of you.
It's a real simple rule of life that I live by. And that is, if you got to ask, you already know the answer. And it's usually not the answer that you want. Now, we talked about confidence earlier and walking in that confidence. If you have to ask hey, do you see those things in me? No, because those things that you are asking for, leadership, being the head of household, those are not things that, you have to ask if you see it. They're just there. So you having to ask her if she sees it, you already know it's not there, or at least not in the capacity that she's looking for, and you've already lost the game at that point.
It's gonna take like a special type of man.
You're a tough one too though.
I'm not tough.
No, you tough.
I think I'm just zero tolerance.
That's tough.
It's not tough. That's just like not allowing people to just kind of do anything to you.
You make me a little nervous.
One of the most fascinating things that I really, really enjoy about this show is watching people talk themselves out the door. If Vernisha says, hey, I'm looking for a man that's going to be a leader, that's going to be the head of household, and that kind of thing, and if you don't have any confidence in that, if she wants you to be a leader and she's asking you to be certain things and you're going to say, you make me nervous, how the hell is that going to instill any kind of confidence in her or in anybody? If somebody's like, you make me nervous, I'm like, bro, I'm not the enemy. The world out there is the enemy. I'm wanting you to be part of our family so we can go attack the world together. But you're literally telling me that I make you nervous? Why would she want that in her life? How These dudes, it's like I said, they're talking themselves out the door, and it is so fascinating to watch.
I need you to be real confident when you're dealing with me. That's why I'm very much into Joel. If I have a man that I have to lead, it defeats the purpose to me of having a man.
You ain't made me nervous. I ain't even want to eat no more. But I want to walk you to your car.
Thank you.
This man stopped eating, stopped the date, and said, "You make me nervous. I'm gonna walk you to your car." Bruh, what exactly did she say that would cause that kind of reaction to where he's saying that you make me nervous and literally stop the date? Mm. Like I said earlier, pressure burst pipes, and this man got water all over the place because if he can't handle the pressure of her telling her, "Look, I'm looking," and he didn't even say, "I need you to do this." She's just saying what she's looking for, and it shut him down like that. Whew, man.
We're aiming to find love, right? Who are we not feeling?
We've come to the end of the show. That means that somebody's journey is going to be coming to an end. We know that both Diedrich and AJ are on the hot seat. Diedrich, I kind of understand, but AJ, I don't know. I don't know. I think my boy's been given a raw deal, but somebody's got to go. It's going to be one of these two.
Yeah, you've been hard to get a hold
Oh,
of.
me? It's been hard to get you. Just makes me feel like you're not that interested. You know, because when a man likes a woman, he okay.
Get on up.
Okay.
So,
I was, okay, see, now I can't focus.
Like I said, pressure burst pipes, man. And AJ definitely is feeling that pressure. That's why he went to his, I guess, the tool in his arsenal, which is his sensuality, that swag, that, whatever. And you see him trying to hug and get close to Alexis. But she came there, she was on a mission. And I guess she's not necessarily feeling him like she was before. So, but it shows that when you feel it, you try to act a certain way in order to gain that control back. And that's exactly what AJ did in this case.
The women have decided that you were still ready to love.
Based on the conversations that me and the ladies have had,
okay.
at this time, we do not think that you are ready to love.
And with that, that means that Diedrich's journey has come to an end. Now, that leaves us with 6 men and 6 women. So we have an even group of people. Next week, we know that AJ is still on thin ice, but he's still on the show. In fact, speaking of being on the show, this whole episode, we did not see anything of David, which is kind of interesting to me. But next week, Tommy kind of gave a preview as far as what was going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing it once again to see how things develop. As usual, you can follow me on my social media at author Christopher Markland on both Instagram and Facebook, or at author_Chris M on Twitter. Anyway, so make sure you follow me. Hey, y'all, thank you for watching this review. Like I said, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And as always, stay determined. I will see y'all next time. Have a good one, y'all. Thanks.